Okay, I'm here. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Good afternoon. I need to fix this. Uh, okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Whoo. So there was a 165-page indictment against Trump that was unsealed. Now, you guys may remember the Supreme Court ruled in July. Well, first what happened was, let me share my screen so we can get an understanding of what's going on. But good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Let me say hi. I'm sorry. I ran in, I put my stuff down, and I was trying to connect my laptop for work, but I said, okay, I'll just get it because I'm good for at least an hour and a half. Let me say hi. Hi, Tina, Flower Power, Health, Wealth, and Hope. Hello. Christoph, hi. Susan, Party Rock, hello. Gamecock Jenny, M. Witt, good afternoon. Golden Girls, good afternoon. Vault, good afternoon. Party Rock, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I didn't see that one. Thank you so much. Triple X, Double Threat. Hello. Oh my goodness. So, and then before I left my office, I was looking at the 6-year-old that came forward and spoke about him being at a Diddy party in the Hamptons. He's now 30 years old. He said that he saw topless women. He recognized the scent of weed. He had posed with a picture of Diddy, which I have. I just need to send to my thing so I can share. He said there was a bunch of topless women in the pool. And he went with his parents who were well connected. Okay. Question is, why was he there when all of this shit was good going on? Donna Karen was there, you know, the designer. She was there. You have girls that look like they're in their late teens. I'm not going to say in their 20s, but late teens. Maya is his mother's name. So, and she was his photographer for a while or something like that. And she took her son to a Diddy party, and they've got the pictures all over the place. So anyway, let's get to Trump real quick. Oh, Jesus. Hi, Templar. Hello, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Templar, just so I know it's you, I know there's always a fake you flying around. I'm going to throw you a wrench real quick. That way, whenever you come in, you'll have it. Okay. I threw you a wrench. So when you come in, well, I know it's you. I saw the rose and I saw the high. But just so you know, just so we'll know, because I know they're fake. That was a fake you for a while that was running around. Let's see. All right, we're good. Let's look at this about Trump. So I'm gonna. Okay, that's as big as I can get it. I don't think so. I think I can make it bigger than this. Nope, that's as big as I'm gonna get it. Okay, so they started arguing this in April 25th, 2024. It was decided July 1st, 2024. But I want you to hear what was decided before I play this bombshell breakdown. Okay, so federal grand jury indicted former President Trump. We're not calling him President Trump, he's former President Trump, okay, on 4 counts for conduct that occurred during his presidency following the November 2020 election. The indictment alleged that after losing that election, Trump conspired to overturn it by spreading knowingly false claims of election fraud to obstruct the collecting, counting, and certifying of election results. Trump moved to dismiss the indictment based on presidential immunity, arguing that a president has absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions performed within the outer perimeter of his official responsibilities, and that the indictment's allegations fell within the core of his official duties. This is where there's an issue. Okay? He said that it was within the perimeter and fell within the core of his official duties. The district court denied Trump's motion to dismiss, holding the former president to not possess his federal criminal immunity for any acts. The D.C. Circuit Court affirmed this decision. So both the district court and the D.C. Circuit declined to decide whether the indicted conduct involved official acts. Here is where the U.S. Supreme Court comes in. They said, under our Constitution, structure of separated powers, the nature of presidential power entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions within his conclusive and preclusive constitutional authority. He is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. There is no immunity for unofficial acts. No immunity for unofficial acts. Okay, I'm gonna drop this link in the chat. You guys can go read it, and I'm going to play this bombshell that was dropped yesterday. Yeah, it is quite suspect. It is quite suspect. Okay, so they say a president exercises of his core constitutional powers. This immunity must be absolute. As for his remaining official actions, he's entitled to at least presumptive immunity. So they're saying if it fell within his core duties, he has absolute immunity. Okay? So yesterday, we had a bombshell. Let me stop this and let me go here. I'm going to also drop this link in the chat. So you're going to hear the breakdown. And they did. I was like, wait a minute. We know that the indictment was there. We know this. I'm not going to fix this right now because I'm getting ready to share my screen. Okay, don't discuss politics. I just want you guys to know what's going on. So do I think it's weird that they're dropping this now after we've had 2 debates? We're going into an election. He's going into to sentencing in October or November. Is it October? He's going for sentencing. This is crazy. Okay. They reached for shit and threw it against the wall to see if it sticks. And I'm going to agree with that. So let me just show you this. And this is coming from Brian Tyler Cohen. They're breaking this down, and this was a bombshell yesterday. So I'm going to play a little bit. We're going to fair use it. Even though, I put the fair use up, we're allowed to commentate on what's being said. Still want to do that. So here we go.
You're watching The Legal Breakdown. Glenn, we have bombshell news here, the news that we've been waiting for. Judge Chutkan in Washington, D.C. has unsealed this 165-page motion, this filing that was submitted by Jack Smith. This will form the basis of this mini trial that will ultimately be litigated to determine what falls under the umbrella of official conduct that Donald Trump could be prosecuted for. So there is a lot in this filing. I'm going to read certain portions here. And Glenn, if you can expound on them and explain what the legal implications of everything I read are, I think that would be the most helpful way to do this. And a lot of what I'm about to read are beyond damning here. So I think we can start off with this. Donald Trump had told certain advisors, and the advisors' names are redacted, but he had told his advisors before the 2020 election that he would simply declare victory before all the ballots were counted. What does that do to Donald Trump, legally speaking?
Brian, the conspiracy was formed long before the results were in, long before all of the votes were counted.
So they're saying it was a conspiracy. They're not saying it. That's what's in the document. That's what's in the unsealed indictment, that there was a conspiracy. So let's go.
Counted. I have to tell you, I am plowing my way through this 165-page motion, but our viewers shouldn't think of it as a legal filing. This is the opening statement. This is a 165-page opening statement, and it reads like a darn crime thriller, even though we know who done it. Donald Trump done it. But now, everybody will have the opportunity to see for themselves what Donald Trump did it, how he did it, with whom he did it, and the fact that they had this criminal plan, this corrupt scheme in place to say, listen, we don't care about the expressed will of the American voters. We're just going to declare victory, and then everything we say and do will be sort of to push that false narrative. And I'll tell you, this is probably a 10 on the legal Richter scale, this 165-page opening statement. On a scale of 1 to 10, Brian, it's a 10 on the legal Richter scale. But I have to tell you, on the political Richter scale, this thing is like a 1,006. I mean, I just hope everybody sits back, takes the time to read it. And I know we're going to go through as much of it as we can.
I'm going to put the link in the chat so everybody can read it for themselves. That was what I put there, was the ruling for the Supreme Court on whether or not a sitting president or a former president has immunity. That's the link I dropped. I will drop the link to the indictment if you have Scribe, or I think it's actually on X as well. But if you have Scribe, you can get it. I think there's a free trial that that you can use so you can read this document. So let's go.
Quickly and concisely as we can, but it's no substitute for people to then go back, take the time and read it and see what Donald Trump did in these democracy-busting crimes.
Okay, Glenn, the next one here that I want to touch on is that a Trump campaign employee and an alleged co-conspirator sought to foment violence at the TCF Ballot Processing Center. That is the one in Detroit. And I'm going to read a quote here. Quote, "We think a batch of votes heavily in Biden's favor is right. Find a reason it isn't. Give me options to file litigation, even if it is." Then the colleague suggested that there was about to be unrest, reminiscent of the Brooks Brothers riot. And this other co-conspirator responded, "Make them riot, do it." So again, looking to foment violence here.
Yeah, looking to foment violence to disrupt and mislead and try to steal a presidential election. This is another example of it. This is one of what we would call the overt acts. What's an overt act? Well, the criminal conspiracy was formed, and I want to talk in a few minutes about just how big this criminal conspiracy might be based on this 165-page opening statement. The criminal conspiracy was formed, right? We're just going to declare victory, notwithstanding the actual vote count. And then everything we see as we move through this court filing, These things are overt acts. An overt act is basically a step that one or more of the co-conspirators takes toward the commission of the crime. And this fomenting violence at the Detroit vote counting center to try to disrupt the counting of the votes is one of those overt acts. And each and every one will further bolster Donald Trump's criminal responsibility. And I know we're going to move through several of them, but this is relating some of what the co-conspirators said and did. But here is why that's so important. People should keep in mind that once a conspiracy is formed, Brian, everything that every co-conspirator says and does is legally attributable to every other co-conspirator. In other words, once you join a criminal conspiracy, as Donald Trump did, you now suffer the consequences of every crime and every incriminating statement made by every member of the conspiracy. And that is why when we go through what these co-conspirators that weren't Donald Trump, what others did and said in furtherance of the conspiracy, think about it. It's all evidence of Donald Trump's crime that can and will be introduced him at his ultimate trial.
And they're stating also that Mike Pence and a few of his former staff members will be testifying against him. And this to me is like, what the hell is going on in this country right now? We have all these natural disasters going on, and they pick this time to unseal this. Now, I don't know what the holdup was, why they waited to unseal it. I have no idea, but we knew what Jack Smith, well, we had an idea of what he did or what he filed. But this, to me, when I heard this last night, I was like, oh, shit. I was like, oh, shit. And they are busy these days. The feds are busy as shit these days. I guess this comes out shortly before the elections, much like Hillary Clinton emails. And yes, you remember that? When all the emails with Hillary, oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Another point that Jack Smith brought up is that Mike Pence had told Donald Trump that he'd seen no evidence of outcome determinative fraud in the election. Jack Smith wrote, "This was one of many conversations the defendant, meaning Donald Trump, and Pence had as running mates in which they discussed their shared electoral interests. Pence gradually and gently tried to convince the defendant to accept the lawful results of the election, even if it meant they lost." So what are the implications of this, of Donald Trump spreading the big lie, knowing full well that A, he had lost, and we know numerous instances where he was told that he was lost, and B, knowing in retrospect that he would go on to then try to pressure Mike Pence on January 6th into doing something that Mike Pence had already revealed he had no interest in doing.
This is saying Mike Pence has nothing to do with the conspiracy. He's going to be one that's going to be testifying as well. That's what that tells me. Mike Pence did not want to say he verified the election results. Donald Trump wanted him not to. Mike Pence is far removed from a conspiracy. This shit is crazy. Oh my God. Send that to me, Party Rock.
Brian, this is evidentiary gold against Donald Trump. Why do I say that? Because anytime you have a witness who can testify to a jury, wait a minute, I told Donald Trump myself, and he heard it, and he acknowledged that he heard it, that there was no fraud undermining the election's results. Mr. President, you lost. When you can get that one-on-one conversation before a jury, not hearsay, not third hand, not a news account, not what somebody wrote in a book, but a one-on-one conversation from an eyewitness who can directly tell the jury, I told Donald Trump he lost. He essentially said, I don't care. We're going to keep on keeping on with our criminal scheme by which I'm going to try to steal the presidency. I'm telling you, talk about a nail in Donald Trump's legal coffin. You know, Mike Pence will be a marquee witness at Donald Trump's trial. And the reason this information about Pence becomes more and more important is because the Supreme Court said, well, you know, presidents get to talk to their vice president. So maybe he should have some immunity, unless they're talking about crime and corruption and Donald Trump is acting as a candidate trying to steal an election, not as a president of the United States trying to enforce the laws of our nation. And that is another reason Jack Smith is including this information about a conversation between Pence and Trump, by which Trump knew he lost the election. And that provides evidence of Donald Trump's what? His criminal intent, his corrupt state of mind. Huge piece of evidence.
We also have evidence in the filing that Jack Smith will introduce instances in which Donald Trump and his co-conspirators basically made up all of their claims about non-citizens, about illegal aliens voting in the election out of whole cloth. For example, the conspirators started with the allegation that 36,000 non-citizens voted in Arizona. 5 days later, it was a few 100,000. 3 weeks later, the bare minimum was 40 or 50,000. The reality is 250,000. Days later, it was 32,000. Then it went back to 36,000. So again, just picking numbers out of whole cloth. What are the implications of this claim?
So, Brian, the fact that they have evidence that they will introduce about knowingly false claims of voter fraud by immigrants or by anybody, dead folk voting, all of that nonsense.
He said dead folk voting. He said dead folk voting, not dead folks, but dead folk voting. I'm like, damn. Hi, Patricia. Yes, he did. He performed his constitutional duty, which they're saying that Trump was trying to draw him in a conspiracy and have him to not declare it. And he did declare it. Somebody said Pence is a chicken shit anyway. Damn.
All helps establish that this was a multi-pronged, multi-front effort to try to steal this election by hook or by crook. And they were deploying all of these different vehicles to do that, whether it's pressuring Mike Pence not to certify the results of the election, whether it is insisting that secretaries of state just magically find 11,780 votes, enough to corruptly declare Trump the winner, or by saying there's a whole lot of immigrants and dead folk voting. It is a multi-pronged, multifaceted attack on the election. And here's the other thing. You know, Jack Smith has to prove that these things were not official acts of the president. So the more information and evidence that we see like this, like Donald Trump and his criminal associates conspiring to falsely, knowingly, intentionally, falsely claim folk are voting who don't have a right to vote, that helps take it out of the presidential immunity realm. Because
remember what I read. As long as it was in his constitutional and his duties, he has immunity. This is outside of that immunity. Remember what I read, that ruling. Remember, I read the ruling. I dropped it in a chat so you guys can go see it. This is outside the realm. This is conspiratory.
Because it is never an official duty of a president of the United States to get together with his criminal associates to lie to the American people about voter fraud that everybody knew didn't exist. Again, evidentiary gold.
Further proving that point, we have another piece in the filing where Mark Meadows and an unnamed White House lawyer exchanged text messages on December 3rd, 2020, confirming that a statistic that had been repeated regarding dead voters was just outright false. So just more evidence on that.
And there was a lot of people that off themselves, including the guy that she had the affair with or alleged to have had the affair with. So yes, there, like I said, all politicians to me are corrupt. All of them are corrupt. After watching the debates for presidential, and nobody came across to me as more than the other person. I think the first one was a joke. Okay. I haven't decided. So now we're left with the greater of two evils again, like we were with Hillary and Trump. If we can throw another candidate in this race right now, that's the candidate that I would vote for. Everybody is going, well, Kamala didn't do this, Kamala didn't do that. Kamala's job is to sit there and be pretty. And I hate to say it that way, but that's a vice president's job. And to be there just in case something happens to the president where she can be sworn in until there's an election. Kamala, as vice president, doesn't make policy. That goes for any vice president, Republican, Democrat, whatever. They don't make policy. They go to be ambassadors. They go to this meeting, that meeting. No. It's like my director. She goes to all these meetings. She goes to senior level meetings. Well, is it senior level? Yeah. And then I'm right underneath her. She's the president. I'm the vice president, which I do write shit for my department. Don't get me wrong. I do processes and procedures for my department, or SOPs that I control. So Kamala has no control. No vice president has control. They go in to do a vote if there's a tie in the Senate. And the government is true organized crime. True organized crime. That's what it is. Oh my God, Party Rock, you're the queen of creating SOPs. I might have to get you to write a few for me. I'm so sick of revising and implementing. I'm sick of this shit.
On that exact point. Glenn, we also have another piece in the filing that outlines how a U.S. senator, also unnamed right now, helped facilitate a December 8th call between Trump and the Georgia Attorney General. So what does it mean wherein we have sitting Republican senators who are facilitating calls between Donald Trump and these state officials, where the purpose of them, again, not unlike what we saw between Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, was to attempt to subvert the election or for Donald Trump to wage his pressure campaign?
Brian, a la the movie Jaws, we're going to need a bigger boat. It means we're going to need a bigger indictment. And we are probably going to see a bigger indictment. I'm so glad you brought that reference.
See, you heard what he said? We're probably going to see a bigger indictment. Are they still investigating? If they're going to do a bigger indictment, sounds like it to me.
To a U.S. senator who may be criminally complicit, not completely clear. Only Jack Smith knows for sure, but maybe being criminally complicit in Donald Trump's conspiracy. And here is what I was really taken by when I was just making my way through this 165-page opening statement. I have not read it.
Shiloh, you read it. Oh my God. Do you see the shit that happened? 7, and then they have them broken down into, what is it? PP, and it's bad. Let me see, what did vote say? The issue is presidents have a 4-year term, but Congress does not. Those are the people that need voted out. They need to have terms. Yes, they do. This is crazy.
At all, but I did jump to the end to see how many people.
According to this indictment and the realm that they're going in, he has no immunity that was out. Immunity applies if it was within his duties. Again, immunity. I'm going to read this again. Under our constitutional structure of separated powers, the nature of presidential power entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions within his conclusive and preclusive constitutional authority. He is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. There is no immunity for unofficial acts. There is no immunity for unofficial acts. That's where we have the issue at.
How many?
Wait a minute. Charlotte said that's why they unsealed this. They did. They needed to do this before election to prove it was criminal to prevent immunity. Exactly. They knew what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing. Yep, he was found guilty on 30, but that was financial. That was financial. This has nothing to do with January 6th, what he was found guilty on.
Potential co-defendants there are in this indictment. Now, everybody will soon realize if they look at this 165-page opening statement that Jack Smith blacked out almost all of the names, and he entered numbers and other designations for all of these people. They are either CC1, CC2, CC3. What is that? Co-conspirator. And we already knew, courtesy of the earlier Trump indictment, there are at least 6 co-conspirators. But then beyond that, because he hasn't yet named or indicated there are other co-conspirators, he started to give them the designation P1. What is P1? Private or political operative of Donald Trump. And when you start looking through all of the P1s, P2s, P3s, you can tell by what Jack Smith relates about the conduct of these private political operatives that a lot of them are going to have criminal liability and are probably going to end up as indicted co-conspirators someday. This thing is long from over. We're going to see other federal indictments drop, I promise you, with other indicted co-conspirators over and above the 6 unindicted co-conspirators that Jack Smith included earlier in an indictment. And I jumped to the end, Brian. Why? Because I wanted to see how many private political operatives there were. Well, I hope everybody's sitting down. 77.
Does that mean that we can actually?
I'm sorry.
Does that mean we can actually see? I mean, if this turns into some RICO prosecution, I know right now Jack Smith built this case for speed, but we've spoken about in the past when you have these unindicted co-conspirators, that means it's pretty much just a matter of time until they're actually indicted as well. So does that mean that we can see a RICO prosecution with 77 co-defendants?
Not necessarily. And here's why I say that. I think Watergate corralled about 48 people who were ultimately charged. This makes, Watergate look like basically shoplifting. Okay.
Yeah.
And just because there are 77 political operatives included in this opening statement, it does not mean that all 77 necessarily have criminal exposure, or even if they do have some minimal criminal exposure, Jack Smith may just want to use some of these people as straight up
them to testify. That's what's going to happen. He's going to use them to testify. This shit is explosive. We have P. Diddy. We have everybody went silent. Now we have this, and I am floored.
Witnesses rather than charging them, flipping them, and converting them into cooperating witnesses, somebody who pleads guilty and agrees to testify truthfully at the trials of others. But when I saw that P77 and I looked at what some of these characters were alleged to have done.
He's not being accused of anything now. The indictment was unsealed yesterday, 165-page document. I dropped the link in the chat before. I'll drop it again. You guys can go read it. I found it on Newsweek for you. You can go read it. Other than that, you can get it through Scrib, but you would have to do a membership or a free trial.
We're going to have lots and lots and lots more co-defendants added in the future. Not necessarily all of them, but Jack Smith is far from done issuing federal indictments in this case.
On the issue of RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel. Donald Trump had asked her to participate in a meeting where he was going to speak with Michigan's Senate Majority Leader and Speaker of the House. This was obviously, again, in an effort to get them to bend to his will with his fake elector scheme. She said that she couldn't be involved in the meeting with those legislators because it could be perceived as lobbying. So she said no, she rejected it. Donald Trump dialed her in anyway. What are the implications of this?
You know, the implications are that Ronna McDaniel, assuming she has been cooperating with Jack Smith and based on the fact that this information is now being disclosed about conversations that it looks like she had with Trump and others, she probably is cooperating. So she may never land herself as an indicted co-conspirator in future federal indictments. But what's interesting about it is when Ronna McDaniel apparently refused to do at least some of Donald Trump's dirty bidding,
Yep.
you know, his criminal dirty work. What do we know happened to Ronna McDaniel? She
No
was
longer the RNC chair.
dethroned,
Yep.
dethroned by Donald Trump. So what did he do? Not only did he try to enlist people in his conspiracy, in his corrupt scheme to steal the presidency, but if they were unwilling, it looks like he retaliated.
He sound like Diddy. This must be a Diddy white party in the Hamptons. That sounds like Diddy. That sounds like Diddy. After all, they're such good friends. That sounds like Diddy to me.
Against him. That is, again, adding important evidence on top of important evidence. In other words, join my criminal conspiracy or there will be hell to pay. All of this is so compelling. It is.
Not everybody is, seriously. It's like I tell people on YouTube. Once people have formed an opinion about you, it doesn't matter what comes out, what the truth is. They don't care. That's their opinion. They're not going to change their mind. You know, they're diehard Trumpers. You know, no matter what, they want to make America great again. But I would never vote for a man that speaks on women the way he does. I would never vote for a man that speaks on, that tries to divide a nation. So who am I left with? Kamala. That's me. This man is, you know, taking away our rights. No one understands that. No one sees that. It's all about Kamala being on her knees, and she left all of these innocent men in prison. But yet you've got an innocent man in Texas right now that's getting ready to be fucking executed. We just had another man, Marcellus Williams, that was executed by a Republican governor because he said he was doing the will of the people and that he wanted to keep the family out of their misery, you know, get it over with, when the family had already agreed to converting that sentence until they can get the proof out there. DNA was fucked up. So again, let's stick to the facts. I don't know of any innocent men that Kamala Harris kept on death row executed yet. Oh, California don't do that anymore. Still, that's all you hear about. She's on her knees, but the people put her in office. I'm going to get on my goddamn knees too and let them put me in office. Let's go.
Sharply incriminating evidence against Donald Trump.
In fact, just to build on what you just said, Ronna McDaniel was asked to promote a report promoting some bogus claims about Dominion voting machines and that they were manipulating Michigan's tabulations in a Democratic-leaning county, and yet she refused to because she had been told, quote, fucking nuts. Those were her words in this filing. And so this is the kind of stuff that Donald Trump was pushing his co-conspirators to promote, something that they themselves were admitting was fucking nuts.
And think about that. If you are telling people, join my conspiracy, I don't care about the quality of the narrative I am pushing and ordering you to tell, whether it's effing nuts or not. We need to take advantage of it. And then when they won't do it, he retaliates against them. Brian, you put 12 people in a wooden box in that courtroom in Washington, D.C. You start presenting this evidence, Donald Trump will be convicted so fast it will make his head spin.
There was another part that I thought was especially striking
horror.
here. We all know about the Texas lawsuit that sought to invalidate the election results in 4 other states. And this was being promoted by the party that beats its chest about states' rights, but we'll just put that aside for a moment. Donald Trump told the Georgia Attorney General, Chris Carr, quote, "I hope you're not talking to your AGs and encouraging them not to get on the lawsuit," meaning he was lobbying Chris Carr, the Georgia Attorney General, to talk to his other colleagues in other states and making sure, hey, I hope you're not telling all of those people, all of your other Attorney General colleagues across the country, not to get on this lawsuit. In other words, he wants Donald Trump to get as many attorneys general on this lawsuit as possible because that Texas lawsuit sought to invalidate the election results in 4 other states because Donald Trump wasn't happy with the results there. What are the implications of Trump telling Georgia Attorney General Carr that?
Brian, this helps prove that Donald Trump was not acting in his official capacity as a president. He was lobbying to try to undermine the results of an election he lost. So this kind of evidence will go a long way to help convincing Judge Chutkan and hopefully someday the Supreme Court, I'm sure we'll talk about that, to rule that this was not the official conduct of a president of the United States. Therefore, he can be prosecuted for it. He does not have presidential immunity. This piece of evidence fits right into that argument.
And let's finish off with this, because I think at this point, I don't want to bring sand to the beach here. And I understand that a lot of this stuff is especially damning. And I do want to get to the implications for the Supreme Court. But I want to bring one more piece of evidence to your attention. So one piece of evidence says that Trump, quote, suggested he would fight to remain in power regardless of whether he had won the election. The quote is this: specifically, following the 2020 election while a board Marine won, the defendant, meaning Donald Trump, told his wife, daughter, and political operative 14 and son-in-law, political operative 13, quote, "It doesn't matter if you won or lost the election, you still have to fight like hell." So what does this do? This feels like a tacit admission that Donald Trump not only lost, but is willing to subvert the process regardless, even knowing that he lost because you just have to fight, because it's just baked into the cake that you have to fight.
It proves 3 things, Brian: criminal intent, and criminal intent. A guilty state of mind, corrupt mens rea. All of those phrases basically connote the same thing. Donald Trump knew he was committing crimes. There is no way you can read this 165-page opening statement and conclude maybe Donald Trump really thought he won. Absolutely not. And this is a variation on the theme that we've heard before from some of Donald Trump's own DOJ officials, a guy named Richard Donahue, for example. Once Donald Trump was told there's no systemic fraud undermining the election's results, what did he say? "I don't care. Just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and my Republican allies in Congress." The open question at this point is how many of those Republican allies in Congress, or political operatives 1 through 77, are going to be indicted as part of Donald Trump's conspiracy.
Okay, so we read a handful of just a tiny fraction of the avalanche of devastating information included in this motion. I want to talk about where we go from here. So I know that now this is going to be litigated in DC. We'll have this mini trial. This is going to be especially devastating for Donald Trump because we are 4 weeks out from the election right now. And by virtue of us having this mini trial, it's basically bringing back to the surface all of the crimes that Donald Trump committed on, before, and in the immediate aftermath of the election certification and January 6th. So eventually it's going to get in front of the Supreme Court. How does the Supreme Court look at this and determine that on any planet, in any universe, any of this stuff falls under the umbrella of an official act by the President of the United States and is therefore protected by presidential immunity?
Hey, Brian, if the Supreme Court has any lingering loyalty to the facts, to the law, and to the Constitution, they must declare none of this that we're reading in this 165-page opening statement constitutes official presidential acts. None of it should enjoy immunity from prosecution. And I'll tell you, if the Supreme Court says, you know what, we just don't care, we're abandoning the facts, the law, and the Constitution, and we are going to try to install Donald Trump into the White House for another term, I don't know what will happen, and I'm not going to predict what will happen, but whatever lingering legitimacy the Supreme Court might have at this moment will be gone. And I don't know where that leaves us as a nation if the Supreme Court, in essence, joins Donald Trump's conspiracy to try to reinstall him into the power of the presidency. You know, I hate to predict anything the Supreme Court will or won't do, but I hope for the good of our country, they go with the facts, the law, and the Constitution, and they declare that Donald Trump can, should, and must be prosecuted for his crimes.
Okay, well, before we even get to the Supreme Court portion of this
here's my issue. Okay, when all of this was going on, he's not there anymore. Shit, what's his name? The Speaker of the House. He's now gone. They refused to impeach him. They said he's out of office. Let's just let it go. Oh my God, Clarence Thomas. Ugh. I can't stand that man. I cannot stand Clarence Thomas. Mitch McConnell. I was trying to think of his name. It wouldn't come to me. Thank you, McConnell. They had a chance. I don't think it would have went this far. But no, he's out. Let's let it, let's let it go. And now we're here today.
Entire motion will be litigated in the courtroom in Washington, D.C. Glenn, when can we expect this process to begin? Will it be televised? What can we expect here as far as the public is concerned?
I doubt it will be televised. That would have to be an exception to the rule that
because this is federal court.
Federal courts do not allow cameras in the courtroom. I don't expect them to change course, though they clearly should for the good of the nation. When, that's an open question, but what we do know, there's another deadline coming up, October 10th, because this was the opening statement. Now, Jack Smith has also filed the appendix to this motion, which contains all of the evidence, grand jury transcripts, FBI write-ups, etc. And Donald Trump has another opportunity to object to what Jack Smith redacted out of the appendix. Right. And I suspect we will get a ruling just as promptly, maybe by October 11th, saying, you didn't make any valid arguments, Donald Trump and your lawyers, so I'm going to go ahead and make public the appendix, all of the supporting evidence. And then Judge Chutkan will set a next hearing date. Now, there are two ways this hearing can go. You can do a hearing by proffer. What does that mean? It means no witnesses are called. It means that we've got the opening statement, we've got the facts in the 165-page motion. Donald Trump's lawyers will say, we accept those facts for purposes of litigating this motion. We don't concede they're true. In fact, we dispute them all. All 77 witnesses are lying. Yeah, right. We dispute them all, but we will accept that those are the facts that you have available to you, Judge Chutkan, to make your ruling on what is an official presidential act and what is not. And then we will move on to our oral arguments on that topic. That is what I suspect will happen. Why do I suspect that will happen, Brian? Because I don't think Donald Trump is going to want to start having Republican witness after Republican witness after Republican witness. It looks like all 77 witnesses, or most of them, are Republicans, and parade them through the courtroom day after day after day, testifying about the crimes of Donald Trump. That would not turn out so good for Donald Trump. So they'll probably waive their right to have any of these witnesses called to kind of back up what Jack Smith put in the motion and what will be revealed in the appendix. And they'll do it all by proffer, and then they'll just argue over what should Donald Trump have immunity for and what should he not have immunity for. That could certainly happen as early as, within a week or two after Judge Chutkan makes the October 10 decision about whether the appendix should be put on the public record as well. Will she set these arguments, these hearings, for a week before the election? She might, because I've been in court every time Judge Chutkan has said my case and the schedule in this matter will not depend on an election or an election cycle. I think more likely we're going to start to see these hearings after the election, just because all of this information now being revealed publicly, Donald Trump and his lawyers are going to have to pore through it and decide how they want to approach the upcoming hearings. And that could take a few weeks for them to kind of get fully prepared to then move into the next phase, the hearings in the case.
Glenn, will you be in the courtroom?
Of course he will.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, just one more reason for those who are watching right now to subscribe to both of our channels, because we will have a firsthand look at everything that's happening in these upcoming hearings, which will be especially devastating for Donald Trump as we move forward here. So again, we'll put the links to both of our channels right here on the screen.
You. So I wanted to bring you guys that. When I listened to this last night, I was like, oh, shit. Then I went back to the ruling of the Supreme Court. This is criminal. This is not within his duties. It's not within his duties. This is criminal. It's not official actions. It's criminal. It's a criminal conspiracy. What do you guys, I've been reading the chat. Now, do I think that he's going to go by proffer? Glenn seems to think he would. I don't think so. Because then he wants people to see him being the victim and how they're coming at him. Now, with two assassination attempts, that's kind of fucking crazy. Somebody said, can he be forced to leave the elections? No, they're saying he's been, well, we already know, but the one with the flying in plexiglass, and this other guy right behind him got killed, then the one that was trying to take him out on the route. This is crazy. Yeah, the party could, but they're not. Thank you, Charlotte, for being here. They're not going to force him out. It comes down to the lesser of two evils. He says, it comes down to the lesser of two evils, and I personally don't like Donald Trump. He has talked about disabled people horribly. For me, it's about to who at the end of the day, and that's me. That's what it's come down to me. The lesser of two evils again. It's the lesser of two evils. I'm still waiting for him, he said he was going to build that wall. Mexico was going to pay for it. Mexico said they weren't paying for a damn thing. Mexico didn't pay for a damn thing. I lean right and cannot support Trump. Ooh. So, Party Rock sent me a video of, where is it? Let me get it. This is during the election where he was certifying, the governor was certifying the election results. God damn it. I can't get to it. So I'm going to have to try that again. Stop sharing. Hold on. Let me try to get this again. It's not coming up. Follow link. Okay. Let me stop it. I have it. It went to TikTok. I don't know why. Okay, hold on. Yeah, that's your old governor. So Governor Ducey was certifying the Arizona results, and he gets a call from none other than Donald Trump during this time. He's going to grab for his cell phone. And he said Trump called. Why would you be calling a governor in the middle of him signing off and certifying an election? Your 15-year-old says he's a Republican that can't support Trump. Oh, damn. Yep, he did. Hold on, let me see what you sent to me. So I'm just saying, we have to look at everything. He has no respect. No, he doesn't. Exactly. Oh, you sent me the same link. Okay, exactly. The way he disparages people, and and then for a former president to stand at a podium and say, would you rather have the white president or the black president? At that time, he was talking about Obama. I'm like, are we fucking kidding here? Thank you, DJ. Thank you. We have to do, I don't care, you know what? I don't care who you vote for. Vote smart. Look at who you're putting in Congress. Vote smart. We got the dock workers now out on strike. Who's leading that? Republicans. The head of the dock workers is a Republican. Do I think that this has been set in motion on purpose? No, they probably need more money, because I've been down to the docks. I've been down to when these ships come in, because I had to go clear some cargo stuff. When I didn't, something happened. We couldn't get it there. I actually had to take it down there. These longshoremen, they get paid a lot of money. Please don't ever think they don't. But the conditions within they work, if you go out to a platform, which I have gone to a platform, had to get out there on a helicopter, my God, they eat great. The sleeping conditions are not the best. But these longshoremen, they make money, yes. He wants to be a protector. What? He ain't my damn protector. He said Jewish people need to have their heads examined. I said before that this election, it's going to be, and it's been nothing but mudslinging. Nothing but mudslinging. Nothing. I'm disappointed. I wasn't happy with the first debate. I was sort of happy. I was surprised at Vance. He stood his ground. But again, there was little talk about policy. I just can't anymore. I just want this whole shit to be over with. Over with. I'm sick of it. It's time for it to be over with. So let me show you this 6-year-old little boy that's talking about being at a Diddy party. Let me find it. Let me get it. I'm going to show you these pics, and we're going to discuss this later. But wait a minute. I forgot about that. Hey, Simply Sophie. Oh my God, I gotta cook something too. Oh my God, I gotta cook something too. I really do. Hold on. Let me just share. You know, we all gonna go to a white party. We're gonna go to a Diddy party. So, 6-year-old guest at Sean Diddy Combs' white party recounts open drugs, naked women everywhere. This is the 6-year-old little boy right here. Okay. 6-year-old. Here are the naked women in the pool. That Diddy, look at him smiling with the little 6-year-old boy. Look at that. Look at the predator. Look at him. You see the predator? We see the predator, don't we? Yes, we do. Look at it. Look how he hugging him around the waist. Now, my God, look at that. Look at him hugging this little 6-year-old like that when all he had to do was bend down. He didn't have to hug that little boy, did he? Did he? We know why you changed your name, Diddler. Okay? We know why you changed your name. There he is. Look at it. Look at it. Hands right above the breastus is. He with Lil Kim. There is Donna Karen. Look at the guest, guys. Look at Donna Karen. Look at Donna. She at the white party. Now tell me these are women. Tell me these are women. I think something's wrong with her face. Do these look like teenage girls to you? Do they look like teenage girls to you? If you guys didn't see my live yesterday, Allie Carter, I played her. She was in foster care, and she was trafficked. Now, they don't look like women to me. Not at all. They don't look like women. They look like teenagers to me. At a Diddy party. They don't look like women. Okay. These are photographs at the white party that his mama took. That's Justin's mama. Oh, look at Leonardo. Is that Buster? That look. Diddy part. Look at Jay-Z. Look at the camel. Look at the camel with his Rockaway apparel. Look at the camel. Okay. Oh, look our model. Look. Tyson was there. He said, fuck Giuliani. Ooh. Tyson was there. Oh, that's him in court for a second bail hearing. So let's all go to a Diddy party, guys. We just left the Hamptons. Hi, Macy. You're in bed. What's wrong? Hi, Crafting with Amanda. I'm just going to say we went to a Diddy party, okay? Now, what's his name? Justin said he lost himself at a Diddy party. Justin is a victim. I saw something on Instagram yesterday or the day before when they were talking about all the people, and they listed Cuba, I'm going to call him Cuba Gooding Jr. as a victim. He was no victim. He's a predator. He's a predator. I've always said Jay-Z looks like a camel. He does. He looks like the camel from that cigarettes, the camel on the camel cigarettes pack. Camel cigarette pack. He looks like a camel. No! Giuliani's daughter came out about, no, I didn't see that. Tony, wait a minute. Tony Pizza said he went to a Diddy party. Are we serious? That's another man I do not like. He groomed other young people to take his place. He is a victim. He is a victim. Joe Camel, thank you. That's the name, Joe Camel. Cuba is not a victim. He's a predator. Hold on. Let me see what Giuliani's daughter, hold on. Mayor Giuliani's daughter. I say. Why Giuliani's daughter says she's voting for Kamala. Giuliani's daughter endorses Harris, slams Trump. Damn. Giuliani's daughter breaks with dad to vote. What? Giuliani's daughter, the biggest threat to our country. She tells how she came to that decision. Okay, let's look at CNN before I get out of here. Hold on. Nope, I didn't see it. Hold on. Let me go and see why she doing what she doing to poor daddy. Lord have mercy. Why is she doing this? Okay, isn't her daddy indicted or something? Stop. Hold on. Share my screen.
From exclusive lounges to immersive dining experiences, all with Chase Sapphire Reserve.
So Caroline Rose, you know, your father was, of course, had many extraordinary moments as mayor of New York City. You know, he was a true leader. He was a hero in America after 9/11. You know, you lived in Gracie Mansion. You were growing up there. And now what you've seen, I mean, just to go through this, and it's not that you don't know this. I'm sorry, it's painful to list it off. But this is what's happened. He's been disbarred in New York and Washington, facing election interference cases in Georgia and Arizona, filing for bankruptcy, owes to election workers in Georgia $148 million.
Get some better
He's being forced to sell your family home in New York City to pay, you know, a small amount of money for those debts. So, Caroline Rose, how much do you blame Trump for all of this?
You know, as I said in my article, I think everyone does need to be accountable for their own actions. And there was some coverage of my article saying I'm blaming Trump. And I want to be clear that I do believe that everyone needs to be accountable for their own actions. But right now, the biggest threat to our country is Trump. So I think it's important to look at the culture that he has created and the way in which he has refused to accept that he lost the 2020 election and get everybody to compromise their values, do anything just to keep him in power, and attack citizens like Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. Like, he's willing to hurt his own people just to have power. And Kamala Harris would never do that. She's fought for the people her whole career. We need to elect her.
So, and obviously you mentioned Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, the Georgia election workers. Caroline Rose, do you fear your dad will ultimately go to prison?
I heard about that.
I mean, of course, that's a terrible thing to think about. And it is a fear, and I don't like to think about it. I try to focus on the future. And I know that we don't have a future as a country, at least not in any recognizable form, if we do not vote for Kamala Harris, because Trump has already made it very clear he's going to try to do the exact same thing in 2024. He is going to try to say that he won this election, no matter what the actual result is. So we need to get out there and vote so that it is indisputable.
Thank you, Macy. Oh my
fun.
goodness. Okay. So she waits a month before the election to come out and say that she's gonna vote for Kamala Harris. People are running around and talking about Taylor Swift. Who cares what Taylor Swift has to say? Vote your conscience. Exactly. Exactly. I'm going to write my name in on the ballot. Can I do that still? Can I write my name in on the ballot? I think I need to do that. But then if we do that, then we can't certify. Well, yes, we could certify the election because this is sad. Very sad. Europe, hi, Dorth. Europe hopes and prays that Trump does not become president. Hi, Maria. Hello, hello, hello. My aunt wrote my name on a ballot for our country trust. Hi, Gwen. Absolute power corrupts. Look at Sean Diddy Combs. Look at P. Diddy, the diddler. You know, he changed his name. The diddler. He changed his name. We all know what he is. He's a diddler. He's a diddler. Good, Flutterby. Write my name in. I am going to run. Kind of late. I didn't get the, I didn't put my name on the ballot. I didn't get the required signatures. I don't have the money that's backing me, but still, I'm running. Okay. I'd rather vote my dog into office this way. Yes. It's the lesser of two evils. Oh, Taylor brings up a 10 million votes. Okay. So I guess we're going to have a bunch of Swifties running around. Yeah, I got you. Okay. I can't say that because when my son took his family to Paris, even though they're in London, took them to Paris to go to a Swiftie concert, I was like, I had no damn idea my son was a Swiftie. Then I saw the outfit he had on. I said, Lord, what did this woman do to my son? Thank you. You're going to write in, Joe Mama. Just, yes. Please don't just not vote. You got to vote. Don't vote a straight party ticket. I never do. Know the candidates that's there. Know who you're voting for. It's not telling you, oh, you get into the little thing that you only have this amount of time. If you're not sure, look it up on your damn phone. Oh, shit, we're going to vote in Dodge? Okay. 300 people plus. Okay. This is crazy. Hi, brown-eyed girl. No, I'm going live. Matter of fact, I need to get off and get some stuff done. I have a 4:30 live schedule, and I'm trying to keep that today because I want to discuss Dennis Bowman. You guys don't know who Dennis Bowman is. There was a docu series, part 1 and part 2 on Netflix. It's called Into the Fire: The Lost Daughter. It's about the missing. It's about Audrey Bowman, but it's about a whole lot more than just Audrey Bowman. You have to vote. Okay, I'm not telling you have to vote, but that is your right to vote. I would use my right to vote. You can look at who's on the party tickets. You can start looking right now to see who is who, what they stand for, what their record is, whether it's an elected state official. Look and see. Hi, Maddie. Maddie, you had a damn good live the other day. You had a really good live, and I'm glad you did a live. It's been so long since you went live. The lesser of two evils, that's me. Yep, and I'm voting absentee ballot, so I'm still registered in Texas. Matter of fact, I need to take care of that like mid-month. I need to send that back in. So again, guys, please vote your conscience. Vote, vote, vote. I know I'm sorry, but it's been so. Well, no, I'm glad you did it. It was, but I kind of missed the Zeals up there with you. I kind of missed it. And then Josie did a really good live the other day as well. She did a really, really good live. Yep. You need to make sure. Thank you for putting out. If you're voting by mail, make sure when you need to check to see if your vote was counted. If you vote early, yes. And that's by mail as well. You can vote for me. All right, yes. I gotta go, gotta get some stuff done. I hope to see you guys later. If you want to do a quick research on Dennis Bowman or the Netflix special, it's about 3 hours, but you can skip through, you can get the gist of it. This man was quite sick, and his wife Brenda made me sick. I understand, stand by your man, but I'll be damned. I will be damned after finding out all of this shit about my husband, knowing what he was doing to young kids. Girl, you better than me. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. I'm out of here. I should be back at 4:30. Let me finish what I need to do. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great afternoon. See you later. Bye. The name is Into the Fire, The Lost Daughter on Netflix. Thank you, Maddie.